Welcome, everybody, to the Crossover Live Friday night, hopping on immediately after the conclusion of the Chiefs and Chargers game. Josh, how are you?
Good, you?
I am doing well. I'm so curious to see what your reaction is going to be to the question menu tonight.
Okay.
So,
Like the theme or the
yeah,
quality?
the mix of topics, the quality. I think you're going to hate it, but
Ugh, damn
I,
it.
I'm just so curious to see, actually.
I wish it was
And
just all NFL questions.
there's some. There's definitely some. So let's do this. Let's do any mail days.
Nothing.
Okay, I have one, and I'll do it very quickly. This is the 1998-99 Upper Deck Highway 99 Michael Jordan, one of one. There it is. More. I'll talk more about that some other time.
That's my favorite one you have so far.
Nice. Okay.
It's just like a clean insert.
It's very clean. Technically, it's a subset belonging to Series 2 of the base set, but it's a 20. For all intents and purposes, it is an insert set. It has 20 players in it. Shaq has a Highway 99. Jordan has a Highway 99. David Robinson has one. Each player just has one, but if this were an insert set and not a subset, there's no way that that I would have been able to get that card. So double-edged sword. Okay, let's get to the questions. Lots of questions. And we're going to warm up with an NFL question from JC2 Collects. Are prices only good until kickoff, or does that only start applying later in the season, like in the playoffs? Let's go to the section here from Bird Brain Sports Cards. What are your NFL predictions? Also, I think we should acknowledge that Josh correctly predicted the Eagles to win last year, but in the same episode also predicted that Saquon would fall off as one of his hot takes. The comment gives and takes.
I said the Eagles would win the Super Bowl, but Saquon would be bad?
I don't know. I did not fact check that.
Those don't line up.
What about this year?
Who do I think is going to win? I predicted the Eagles last year. I don't remember when I did, though. I could have picked them in the start of the playoffs. This year, I don't know. I've heard so many picks and takes and stuff. I don't feel like piling on.
Yeah, I like to see at least 4 or 5 weeks.
I mean, everyone's picking. Like, I always like picking Allen. So and everyone's picking them this year. That's pretty much why I don't want to pick anybody.
I think Jalen Hurts is a sneaky MVP play. ESPN gave him a QBR score of almost 94 from week 1.
Woo-hoo.
I'd keep a really close eye on him. I think Jaden Daniels is a dark horse MVP candidate. I think there will be momentum to give Lamar MVP if he's up in the upper echelon. The Ravens are good. So those are my 3 MVP possible players there. And then Joe Burrow's lingering, but I've yet to see Burrow actually have a top QBR season or a top passer rating season. So I think he's less likely. And if I had to pick an MVP right now, I would lean Hurts. Actually, I think Hurts is really interesting right now for MVP. You want to give any MVP takes?
Herbert's off to a good start.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I'll be rooting for the Bengals this year. I have a lot of Jamar Chase cards. I love Joe Burrow. I'll be rooting for them. Their defense is bad, I guess, but they're exciting.
Nice. Chet. Yes, Christina.
We're literally 2 games into the season and you're asking for like MVP picks when only 4 quarterbacks have played. Like, what are we doing here?
Go back down. Thank you. Next question from Chaz Pennysleeve. This is not necessarily cards, but do you want to discuss Asia Wilson's dominant game against Minnesota and against MVP frontrunner Nafisia Collier yesterday? Do you think that performance cements her as MVP? Well, Chaz, I've got news for you, pal. Asia Wilson is now the frontrunner for MVP according to FanDuel Sportsbook. Asia is minus 130. Nafisa is plus 100. So that's pretty darn close to a tie. And then I quickly pulled up. Basketball Reference doesn't have box plus minus for WNBA, and that's because it's a very difficult statistic to calculate. You need like 15 years of regularized adjusted plus minus data, and I don't think that exists for the WNBA. But I did pull up the other two, player efficiency rating and win shares, and Asia Wilson is leading in both. She has a considerable lead in player efficiency rating, 32.8 to Nafisa's 30.5, and in win shares is much closer, but Asia has 8.3 win shares to Nafisa's 7.8.
I thought that the WNBA season was canceled yesterday. Oh wait, that was just Clark out for the season.
I hadn't heard about the WNBA in a few weeks, and I'm guessing I'm not going to hear much about it now until next year.
The season's fried.
But my take here, having watched absolutely zero WNBA games this season, is that I love to see that the player who is the statistical best player is leading for MVP. Love to see that. I wish the NBA would go back to doing that. All right. Coming up next from What Are We Doing Here? If you knew that your favorite team circumvented the salary cap to sign your favorite player, would you be okay with that? Obviously referring to the Kawhi scandal.
No. It's not worth it.
No. Right. It one would think it should put an asterisk on any season results that flowed from manipulating the salary cap, although we have confessions from the officials who officiated the Miami Heat Dallas Mavericks finals that they were giving Wade extra free throws or something to that effect, and nobody puts an asterisk on that NBA finals. So
he had like 12 free throws a game or something.
I think it was more. I think he had one game where he had like 25 or something. I don't know. It's been a while, but I'm pretty sure Donaghy is the guy on record saying he was a part of that. Or
that was the worst. That was the worst finals ever.
Yeah. Okay. McDoyle Sports says, please. Okay. All right. So I put this right here for a reason. He says, please discuss any topic that focuses on the cards themselves and not on price and not on the bull market, and then have fun. So unfortunately, McDoyle,
the next 10 questions are market questions.
We have 8,000 questions about the bull market. But in honor of this question, because I love the spirit of this question, I crammed the non-market, non-industry, non-price stuff up front. So here's one from Collectogram. Does how a card looks matter anymore? Why do aesthetics matter so little in 2025?
What? I still think they matter. Black finites, superfractors, gold vinyls. I'm all about the looks.
Because they're not innovative. It's the same designs or same refractor finish that is repeated. That is the like chase card or like the hit. Like instead of innovating and retiring a subset or a parallel set after 1 or 2 years, we get kabooms since 2013 every year.
Nice.
And
nice.
Yeah.
So you get your zag in, which I like. You get to make the point that a lot of these products have become repetitive. Yeah. But do you accept the premise that aesthetics don't matter anymore?
No, but I think that in this current environment of the market where innovation is not at the forefront for basketball and football, I think, and I would say baseball too, but I don't collect that obviously. I think that you're seeing the market reflecting the fact that innovation isn't there.
What do you say, Josh?
Yeah, it seems like repackers and gamblers don't care about what the cards look like. The emphasis is not coming from collectors, I would say.
What's the ugliest card that has market prominence from this era?
The 86 Flair.
No, but from this era. You had that fucking ready to go.
Yeah, that was flying out of his mouth no matter what you said.
Because I don't think that there are unaesthetic cards leading the way here in the Panini era. I think we've quite nicely filtered to the most beautiful ones. I think Logoman autographs can be very repetitive, but they're beautiful. Same goes for patch autographs. I think the black finites are really nice. I think the gold vinyls are really nice. I think some, I'm not a big Panini insert guy, but I think most people think the Color Blast is a pretty design. Kaboom looks nice. Downtown's getting a little crazy.
AI.
What do you think?
I don't really have like an ugly one for you. I guess all the select patch sticker autos, like but those don't sell for a lot.
The tie-dye like sticker auto napkin patch.
I'm not a big fan of like flawless because it's just like a white background with a patch, but
yeah. Christina?
I miss like essentials and like the effort going into cards like Phoenix like aren't what like we're just repeating patterns and geometric shapes.
Yeah, how about that? How about each product should get its own one of one pattern? Like we shouldn't be having 8 different gold vinyls and 8 different products. I'm with you there.
I think that would be good.
Yeah.
And also like I'm not a fan of Kabooms or Downtowns. Color Blasts were cool when they first came out, but then like them all jumping around to different products because that's the like hit, and people then chase that particular insert no matter what set it comes out of or what product it comes out of. I'm not a fan of phoning it in, and it feels very phoned in.
Got it. Okay. Next up, 626 Sports Cards. Are all of these long shipping and grading delays killing hobby excitement for you?
Dude, I've been smashed a card on crossover last week.
Dude, can we talk about that, or is it
and
still too early?
I still don't even have the freaking thing. It was 2 weeks ago. We skipped last week, and it got delivered to like my intermediary address yesterday. It took 13 days, and then it's like because it had to go to eBay or it had to go to PSA to get authenticated. It's just like so slow. Everything takes forever, man. When I buy private, I get it in a day. 2 days.
So last week during the show, maybe a little over halfway into the show, you got alerted to a card that became available. Christina, yes, what do you want? What do you want?
I'm just saying 2 weeks ago, bud, we didn't have a show last week.
Sorry. Oh my God. Please forgive me. It was 2 weeks ago, folks.
No, but it goes to the story of things taking too long. 1 week.
True. It does go to the story. All right. 2 weeks ago, you may have noticed that Josh sort of like checked out.
you answered some like really long question. You're like, what do you think? And I was like, yep. Wait, what? Because I was like researching how many cards there were of this card, and I was like spending a few minutes because I didn't have any time. It was going to get smashed. I felt like at least.
Yeah. Yes. So, but we're not ready to name the card.
No. I don't have it in hand yet, dude. That's the point. I'm still waiting.
Facts. And has the weight, to what extent has it diminished your joy?
I don't know. I guess it's just another thing to whine about.
You're a lot more patient than most. You're definitely.
I've bought like 3 cards since then,
Yeah.
I did buy one. I bought one before kickoff yesterday because I just like screw it.
Because the threat was live.
Right.
Better buy this before kickoff.
Follow up. Did any of those 3 cards, I mean, obviously the one you bought yesterday, no. But did any of those 3 cards show up before this one from 2 weeks ago?
No, I haven't got them. That's why I haven't gotten anything since the Khalil Mack 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
Yeah,
so,
I think there's. Yep.
Oh, I was just gonna say. So, is that dampening your hobby excitement because
not really?
You don't have a mail day. Like, there's nothing in the mailbox for you.
I will.
He knows it's coming. There's definitely diminishing returns for me. Like, if I don't get that card in my hand within 48 to 96 hours after purchasing it, it's not as good of a mail day.
I was there when you were buying the highway and you just got it, so that took a while.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, this did take. This is the prime example of what I'm thinking about. That the high of acquiring it wore off in between
It's
the
just
acquisition day and the mail day.
the funniest part of this is this, and you're gonna laugh. The irony is that all of these delays we're talking about have been new things since all these companies came in to make everything better for us, and all they did was slow everything down. Right? Am I wrong?
Dude, please bring back the good old days where I'd buy a card and it was like thrown in the mail and then shows up like 2 or 3 days later.
Like it's literally just the vaults and the like authentication things and taxes and fees and like everyone trying to get their greedy grubs on everything. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's not even about the cards or the like, oh, we were told it's brutal or whatever, you know, like the friction, it's so bad. It's literally worse because of all the changes these companies have made. So don't at me.
Yeah, but at least now you have 8 different vaults at every company.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
All right, next question we have is Salty Sports Cards, who would like to know, what are your honest thoughts on Stephen Curry's recent market explosion? Generational player, but wow.
Yep. Everyone's real excited about Steph Curry. Let's rush to make videos about how rare his rookie cards are. Well, let me tell you something about that. Over the last month, LeBron is up 14% and Curry's up 7%. So, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen a lot. This all right, here comes my zag. I've seen a lot of debating among lots of collectors that I like to take content from and follow on Instagram. These are collectors, not dealers or flippers or investors. And I'll hear from them too. But among the collectors that I listen to, there's been a lot of jockeying and debating and trying to place Kobe and Curry. And these are 2 great players for sure, top 15 level players in terms of total MVPs, which is one of the metrics that I like to look at. So great all-time great players, cultural icons, so on and so forth. One's the greatest shooter, one's got the toughest mentality, huge overseas. Huge overseas. One ran through Pau Gasol.
How did you measure that, by the way? That last part. How do you?
I
how
have
can you say?
My mentality-o-meter. So it's this little metric that I have.
Wow.
It's like a
It's
squeeze gun.
Punching your own teammates and like repeat and demanding trades in the 2006 season and
right, yeah, and just running out of town your co-star.
After he stole your 3 finals MVPs.
Okay. So, and I do find these discussions really interesting. And then sometimes they punch up and they take some shots at LeBron. And I find those discussions to be not as interesting. But I think Kobe versus Curry is a very interesting debate. I think, Duncan coming into that mix as sort of a 3-player comparison is very interesting. Punching up to LeBron, not as interesting. But LeBron's still active. Active players are always going to be the subject of discussion. They're always going to be like LeBron is the best active player, and by best I mean the guy with the most total MVPs. He has 8, so he's always going to be the measuring stick for everybody else. But we are ignoring the elephants in the room here. There's still this guy, this bald-headed guy with that big old fat hoop earring in the left ear, who goes by the name Michael Jordan, who should be put back into these conversations if we're going to talk about the best basketball players of all time and talk about most collectible cards and most collectible players. I asked ChatGPT to come up with an estimate of because the basketball, the stuff on the floor is settled, right? Jordan 11 total MVPs, 3 ahead of anybody else. LeBron longevity stats, playoffs and regular season. Kareem is kind of close. Nobody else is close. So what's the other argument, right? The other argument is something along the lines of, name, image, and likeness, cultural icon status. So I went to GPT and I asked it to spit out for me whose name, image, and likeness, whose cultural imprint is the biggest. And I asked it to do Jordan, Kobe, and Curry. Jordan's annual revenue from his intellectual property, from his name, image, likeness, GPT estimates to be between 6 and 6.5 billion. Kobe and Curry are down there in the 100 to 200 million range. Okay. So even if we want to do the cultural impact argument, and I don't want to do that because I'm just focused on what happens between 94 feet and 50, but we're going to roll out, cultural impact and this and that. And Michael Jordan needs to be part of that discussion too, because this guy's like 30 times the brand that any of these other guys, Kobe and Curry, are. So that's my zag. That's my rant. As the quiet Michael Jordan guy who's just sitting back, seeing Michael Jordan show up on Thursday Night Football, wanting to have a cigar in his mouth so bad, but he can't because he's on TV and he's in the box. Just wanted to give Michael Jordan a seat at the table because he has been conspicuously absent from all these discussions.
Yeah, but you don't want to be in these. You don't want to be down in the mud with the Duncan, Kobe, Curry range. Like the fact that they're dragging LeBron into that range is the offensive part. If MJ gets dragged in there, it's just like, oh my God, what are we doing?
Right, exactly. Okay, that's a great point too.
That's why he's not being brought up, because it's like a given. Like we don't need to discuss that,
right?
Or at least that's how I understood it.
I guess so. I don't know. I mean, Jordan's index this year on Card Ladder. Not that that's necessarily indicative of anything, but his index is lagging way behind Kobe, Curry, in particular. So
yeah, year to date, Curry's 70%, Kobe's 48%, and MJ's 35%.
Right. Yeah, he's lagging. Definitely lagging. I'm not complaining about that. But if the discussion is around, who's underappreciated in the hobby, and that discussion is derivative of either who's the best player of all time or who has the biggest cultural imprint or who's the most iconic, Michael Jordan wins on all three of those, folks, at least from where I'm sitting. So I had to get that take off. But it's all in fun. It's all good discussion. Just I haven't seen anybody speak up for the GOAT, so I thought I would do it. With that said, very happy for the market flourishing of all these great players, because they are all great players. Curry is a great player. Kobe was a great player. LeBron is the best active player in my view, using my metrics that I like. So, congrats to all. All right,
we're all Charlie Munger. Just get on the bandwagon.
Yeah. All right, from the Field of Dreams, please discuss the process of letting go and consolidation. When was the last time you consolidated?
I don't remember.
Like turning like 10 cards into one.
A few years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I've just been buying the last couple of years, not selling much.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think my last consolidation project maybe was the McCaffrey NT Shield like 2 years ago.
I just have a hard time consolidating and selling one of ones at this point. Like, I guess I could sell some of like my bottom football cards and get a better one, but I'd rather just keep buying more.
Yeah, that's why this question is really interesting, and I want to, what can we give this individual who is going? It looks like they might be going down the path of consolidation. It's been a while since I've gone down. It's been a while since you did. What can you say to them on the process of letting go and consolidating?
Yeah. Well, it seems like since we've last done consolidation, or maybe you've done this recently, where you can use these services now to buy the card before you consolidate and then consolidate through, the Fund My Cards or whatever. Those are good options.
Yeah. All right. Up next from Black Hat Cards, is collecting one of ones the street equivalent of being addicted to heroin? Essentially, there is nothing else that gives you that high, only the hard stuff, the black tar prism, if you will. If this is true, then what is the gateway card the collective hobby should be warning people about? I want to do my part to keep people off of one of ones. For Josh, are downtowns and kabooms the equivalent of buying cut or stepped on drugs?
Dude, downtowns and kabooms are just like weed.
Reggie?
Skunk weed.
Yes, Christina?
Well, I was just going to say, isn't Jesus better than heroin? So wouldn't Jesus be one of ones? If you could equate one of ones to Christ as king.
I think Jesus might outright reject the materialism of every single thing that we're doing with cards, maybe. Jesus would say, sell your cards, donate the proceeds, and serve your fellow man.
Would he, though?
I don't know. What do I know?
We already do that through taxes.
Yes, we do. I was so impressed by the water to wine parable when I heard it for the first time in a long time, like a month ago. So, all right. Let's go on here. Christina was just like shocked. Okay. Up next from Drake's PC. I just strap in because this is a long one. I had a nice conversation with
Give it a strap in. It's a long one.
I had a nice conversation with a new entrant to the hobby this week. He has been smartly educating himself before really jumping in. He asked a really intelligent question, in that he noticed that game-worn NFL shields, superfractors, and finites, for example, are in most cases priced very differently, even though they are similar cards. He asked why a Peyton Manning 2014 Bowman Chrome Superfractor PSA 10 is below $10,000, while a 2012 Finest Superfractor PSA 8 is $13,000, and a 2011 Finest Superfractor BGS 9.5 is $28,000. While aesthetics and set and grade, and to a lesser extent, while aesthetics, set, and grade to a lesser extent matter, how would you go about explaining major value differences in similar cards of the same player? So this is the crux of it. Big value differences, similar cards, same player. And similarly, when negotiating, how do you come to a fair market valuation when the seller always jumps to the highest sale of a similar card as the comp?
Yeah, some of those Manning ones are all over the place.
Yeah. Let me say this. Let me set up this question in this way. In a roundabout way, this is absolutely the question that I find most compelling of any question right now. Because what's at the heart of this question is, defining cards, identifying and defining cards, and figuring out why one card's story is more compelling or why one card's market is stronger. And I won't even begin to pretend to be able to answer this question, because this is the question. This is an all important question. And Vinny Slabarino's follow-up question here is a good one too. With that said, Josh, do you have let's put this into your home turf. Let's do Tyreek Hill, for whom you have the rookie year optical vinyl and the rookie year prism black finite, and there's a huge value difference between those two. And do you ever sit there and wonder why, or do you say, no, I get this?
I mean, a lot of it's just like the hype and the iconic nature of Prism versus Optic, I guess. And Prism's been around 4 years longer, and it's just like a more popular brand. So, I mean, I get it. I think the Optic looks nicer for those two cards, and it's the first year Optic, but it's more beneficial to me. I'd rather have the Optic for cheaper.
Right. So is that maybe a factor here that that nobody's ever going to complain that the card that they're acquiring is too cheap?
Right.
Why couldn't you have this more expensive for me?
The Manning one, the superfractors don't sell very often. I'm looking at the price history, and it's like a superfractor Manning sells like there's been like one this year, two last year. They don't sell too often, so a lot of it is like who's in the market buying at the time they come up for sale. And if there's two people battling at one time, and then one person leaves the hobby, and the next time it's one, these prices can jump a lot on these one-on-ones. There's not a ton of people fighting over these one-on-ones, so it's like just whatever the market dictates at the time. You can see these big price jumps on some of these.
Yeah.
But he's saying like Bowman versus Finest, but then he has another example where Finest is like double the price of another Finest,
Right. Exactly.
Like I don't even think it's aesthetics on those examples.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that this question does not admit of a readily accessible answer. I think you could spend a long time trying to figure out this question. And I think this question applies to every era and every type of card, every sport, every niche. This question goes back to why is the 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle a higher market price than the 1951 Bowman Mickey Mantle?
Right.
Goes back to that. This is a question that can and should be asked and in virtually infinite scenarios.
Yeah, and it's like people talk about how the red and green PMGs weren't always the top dog and weren't always the most expensive, and then they became the most expensive. So it's like people were bought and sold this idea that it is the best card, so it's like a herd mentality of what everyone thinks is the best card, so that becomes the most expensive. It's not necessarily anything explicit about the card.
Yes, but if you're able to figure out why the PMG red and the PMG green ascended from a lukewarm response upon release in the late 90s to some of the most coveted cards today, you will have divined the formula to identifying hidden gems in the hobby.
Yeah.
So
the Barry Sanders green PMG is 372,000. If you could figure out why that card sold for 372 versus, right. I think you sent me like a red label 1/1 Barry that sold for like 10 grand or whatever.
Right. From the following year, which was still playing years also. Yeah.
Yeah. It sold for 15 grand. A PSA 8, 98 gold label, class 2 red label 1/1 Barry Sanders sold for 15 grand.
Right. Right. Exactly. Okay. So that's a good example, because part of my answer to this question for my own approach, and I'm not advocating that anybody else does it this way, but I can, because this is such a tenuous topic. But for me, I certainly believe that a general lack of knowledge of what a player's offering plays a huge role in this. Huge role.
You think like if everybody did know, let's devise a scenario where, like, I think you had that example where 10 people knew every card that existed or whatever. They're in a room and they picked. Would they pick the Prism? And that part's interesting to me. Like, if everyone knew about this Sanders 1/1 equally as the number of people that knew about the green PMG, would the green still outsell it because they're, pushed by the crowd telling everybody that you need to get the green PMG instead? It's a better card. It's a better set. There's set collectors, etc.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. That's the point of a thought experiment like that is to try and answer a question like this, which is an all important question. So, Drake, I hope you figure it out. But if you do figure it out, I'd strongly consider keeping the answer to yourself. This is the big question of this era. All right. Vinny Slabarino has a follow-on that's somewhat related. He says, always enjoy the show. I always thought that the easier a card was to explain to a non-collector, the more valuable it was. So just like, let that sink in. I always thought that the easier a card was to explain to a non-collector, the more valuable it was. Right. And I thought that because it had an appeal that went beyond collectors. But the Michael Jordan Kobe exquisite dual logo man autograph 1/1 sale at nearly 13 million really seems to contradict that. I understand that the story behind the card was simple for collectors, but nobody outside the hobby knows what a 1/1 dual logo man is. You have to explain it to them, which causes most people to lose interest. On the other hand, if I told you that it was the only signed Michael Jordan rookie card, then I think people would understand that and they would be impressed. So maybe it doesn't matter whether non-collectors can understand what a card is, but I'm interested in your views.
That card just feels like such an outlier, that sale.
Yeah.
It's hard to like change your worldview on cards based on that sale. I'm not saying Vinny's doing that here. So I still like to stick with the initial theory of the easier it is to explain, the better.
Well, I don't disagree that that's a totally viable way to think about cards. But I'm going to present a different way of thinking about it. It's like, think about the sport of football. Think about if you had never encountered football in your life, and then somebody put on a game, and you didn't know any of the rules, and you didn't know why they have this equipment on, and you don't know that you're supposed to be following the ball. Would anything happening make sense to you? And I think maybe you could start to figure it out if you watch a game or two, but no, I don't think you would understand what's going on. Now, does the fact that an ignorant person not understanding football, does that in any way impact my ability to appreciate football? No, it doesn't. In fact, I almost derive an increased satisfaction out of the fact that the game is so sophisticated and that you can continuously level up your understanding of what's going on through the tools of statistics, film review. Caught my dad crunching some all 22 footage today, trying to figure out why AJ Brown wasn't getting any targets last night. Okay. That you can really, like, the fact that you actually can go that deep and just continuously find scratch the itch of curiosity, and you can get better and better and go deeper and deeper. I'm going to analogize that to the card and say that that same in cards, that just because an outsider, somebody who doesn't understand what's going on, can't figure it out, that isn't a demerit to the item. But in fact, that if we think of cards as a game similar to the game of football, and that collecting is a game, and that a very sophisticated understanding of the rules will allow for a compelling story to be told about something like a dual logo man autograph 1/1. Like, I love this comment from Mookie Chilson here. He says, whoever wrote the paragraph description for Heritage did an amazing job explaining it to non-collectors. And so I think that's part of the game of collecting, is figuring out what story a card tells and how you can tell it. Other parts of the game of collecting are how beautiful is a card? Where does this card sit in relation to all the other cards? These are all parts of the game of collecting. And so I'm not concerned with what a non-collector thinks. I'm way more concerned with what the people in the game of collecting think and how they approach the game. So what do you say, Josh?
Yeah, the longer I've been in the hobby, the less I care about what non-collectors think of my collection. It's basically whittled down to, like, if there is ever some topic that comes up to a non-collector, I'll say something like, oh, I have one of their best cards. That player about. I own one of, they don't ask any follow-ups, and it just sort of dies there.
Okay, that's so good too, because, like, I think about this too, right? Like, if a non-collector wants to ask me something about cards, I'm not going to use energy to explain it.
Right, exactly.
Like, no thanks. Like, I'll why do you like cards? Oh, I don't know, it's stupid. Okay. And then if they actually press and follow up, and they actually demonstrate a genuine interest in the topic, then I'll try to explain as best I can based on what I perceive. But as soon as the flame flickers and dies out, and it becomes me trying to convince somebody of something that they're just not interested in understanding, I'm done. I'm good. We have enough collectors. We have enough people in this hobby. This is my other zag. Get people out of this hobby.
Well, Keep adding these new vaults and shipping fees and everything, and we got it.
I would also like to point out that you say that, like, oh, I'll explain if people are interested. And yet, when I have legitimate football questions during a game, you get pissy when I
This is
ask them.
so good. This is the perfect example. You're sitting there watching a football game and somebody's like, what does 3rd and 2 mean?
No, that's not. Stop it. No, that's not. It's like something very specific that like never happens, then it happens, and then I ask like, wait, why is that call? And you get all.
That's not describing you. You have a good understanding, and you ask smart questions.
Like
Thank
Mahomes
you.
is past the line of scrimmage, but his foot hasn't stepped past. Like that pass. Did you see that play?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a very specific.
Any part of the
nuanced
body
rule.
can be
Yeah.
behind line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that.
Why is that the rule? Yeah. So Josh, what do you do if you're watching a game and somebody's just like, why are there 4 downs?
Oh, dude, I never find myself in that scenario unless it's the Super Bowl. And I'm at by that time, it's like just wait for the commercials and the halftime show, then you can come back.
Yeah. Exactly.
I watch Red Zone in peace by myself.
Oh, speaking of Red Zone, are we going to talk about this?
Yeah, we're gonna find out. I don't want to make any takes until I see how many commercials I have to watch. Then I'll
This
let
is
you know.
so delicate to Josh, so let's just let it play out.
If it's like
and then
a normal game amount of commercials, I'm gonna like lose my mind.
And then I don't know if you saw it, but Xfinity was was advertising last night during the game that they're going to do the 4 games at once so that you can click around and have all of the games on your screen at the same time.
Nice.
You have to imagine that they're getting ahead of what Red Zone is going to be, and that's why they're marketing to people now. Yeah, I was not a fan.
I saw someone on Twitter talking about how because there's more commercials, they'll have more revenue and they'll beef up the studio presentation. And I was like, that's the best part about the show, is that their studio is just a guy standing there giving me football. That's the whole point. If you beef it up a little bit, I'm going to be annoyed.
Come on, we'll give you 8 different guys chiming in, offering nothing, and then we'll make you watch commercials for 50% of the time.
See, the beauty of Red Zone is the simplicity of one guy who I trust at this point. He's not going to screw it up.
Who has a piss bucket. Yep, thank you.
Yeah, he doesn't pee, and
possible
it's literally
poop bucket.
Just the football games, and that's it. That's it.
Okay, let me just throw this out here. Doris Burke will be his co-host.
Oh, are you serious?
No, but I could see that.
Stop playing with this topic.
Come on,
that could be that could be the move. Is someone who doesn't really understand what things mean now becomes the co-host.
Of the entire landscape of sports media, Red Zone is the thing least in need of any fixing.
Thank you.
Agreed.
Yes, dude. This is like you being like, hey, your kid is thinking about getting into this. He's thinking about being a flipper. Okay, let's just, you know what? Let's calm down a second. Let me figure this out myself as the parent, and then I'll get back to you.
Okay, we'll talk about it next week.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
It's just all right. Let's move on here.
I'm ready to complain though. Just so you know, I'm gonna be watching it. I'm gonna complain.
Okay, from Collect for Fun 23. Oh, we started late. That's why we're only. Okay. All right. From Collect for Fun 23. If every card on your want list was held hostage by sellers with buy it nows priced at over 3 times comps, would you change your collecting approach and try to discover new players or sets to collect, or would you just try to wait things out?
Man, I wait those people out. They'll sell eventually. All of them always do. They don't want the cards. They want money.
Yeah. Yes. Josh's team wait him out.
I love waiting them out.
And Josh advocates for everybody taking the wait him out approach seriously, because this is a collective action problem. This can be solved at the group level.
I message multiple people in a player collector group and be like, none of you buy this for more than this. I'm telling you right now, this is, we can't let this guy win.
Right. Exactly.
Hold the line.
Classic collective action problem.
And then also get out of the way and let me buy it.
All right. From Rookie Moonshots, how cooked are Caitlin Clark cards? Don't enjoy this so much. Now that she's out, if the WNBA bubble bursts, will there be spillover?
Cooked. Dude, that Flawless sold for $660. Then the better card, quote unquote, the NT sold for $500. She's cooked.
Yeah.
She is cooked.
Yeah, for a hobby that's quite impatient, especially with active players, it's awful news that we're not even going to get a stab at a postseason run in season 2 here. Although there was a tremendous zag on Instagram that I think MK sent me. And here's the zag. You ready for this?
I hope you're not going to steal mine because I have such a good comp. But go ahead.
This is not a comp that you would come up with. This is the opposite of a comp that you would come up with.
If you steal my thing, I'm going to be mad. But go ahead.
Okay. Well then, do you want to?
No, go ahead. I don't think
All
you're
right.
going to steal it. You said it's not a comp.
Well, it is. It's a comp to a player.
Yeah, you're going to steal it.
This is what it said. It said, guess who else
Nope. I
had a season-ending injury in year 2 and then went on to become the GOAT?
God, that's so annoying. I had this one ready today. I was ready to do this.
So who is it, Josh?
Oh, Michael Jordan broke his foot.
Dude, that was insane.
Dude, he played like 9 games. It's like the same thing. It's the exact same thing.
There are indicators occasionally that people are just manic and drunk on the Kool-Aid. And when an injury becomes a positive thing, like, oh, it's great. We didn't want her to be healthy for this season because now she's on the Michael Jordan trajectory.
This is my second favorite one. You know, my favorite one is of this ilk.
Huh.
Every time a rookie quarterback throws like 30 interceptions, so like Peyton Manning threw 30 interceptions, he's going to be the GOAT.
It's like, oh, so it would have been better if he threw.
Right.
It would have been worse if he threw fewer.
That's like Ryan Russillo. He always likes when guys throw lots of interceptions because it means they're more aggressive. It's like that.
Ryan Russillo came away more impressed with Caitlin Clark.
She got hurt
after she got injured.
I just want to say I actually didn't want her to play the rest of the season because, like, if you set the table, you should have to eat at it. And let the WNBA players go into bargaining in October with the NFL and the NBA back on air and the NHL back on air, fucking baseball playoffs, and no Caitlin Clark for the entire season, and like ticket numbers and watching numbers, and go ahead and sit there and try and tell everyone how everyone's not watching just for one player. Bull fucking shit. You set the table. You said you needed more money. You made Caitlin Clark wear that fucking shirt that was disrespectful to her at the All-Star game when she wasn't even playing because she was injured. And now I want to watch you fucking eat.
There you go.
What a great rant. That was great.
That was great.
This is the face of Christina right now. Here, I'll share my screen. This is going to be good. Give me a second. This is Christina after cooking.
Okay, God.
I just cooked, y'all. Look at her.
What an iconic card. Am I right?
Dude, this puke, dude. This card sold for $84,000. I am filled with so much rage every time I look at that price. That is insane.
Okay. Well, then let's get that off the screen so we don't get too upset. Okay. Here is my zag against the zag amid other zags. Maybe all the way back to a zig.
You're just like back to saying Caitlin Clark's the GOAT or something?
Dude, that's kind of where I'm going with this.
Ugh.
Here's where I'm going to land on this. There's a lot of pontificating about how awful this season-ending injury is. Caitlin Clark wasn't winning the championship or the MVP this year, folks. So if this injury, bringing a premature end to her second season, which was not going to result in any legacy-building greatness, if that is materially impacting how collectible you find Caitlin Clark to be, I don't think you are ever truly finding her to be collectible in the first place. So I think if a true believer of Caitlin Clark will not in any way, shape, or form be disrupted by the fact that she had a pretty nasty injury. That's that. Now I've zagged all the way back to the zig.
She's only 23. She's fine.
Yeah, dude. Yes. And I've noticed that I have not heard very much about. I haven't heard anything about the WNBA ever since she's been sitting out. She is the lightning rod. The league goes as she does.
We all knew that, though. We knew that.
Yeah.
Like, you brought up the Asia Wilson thing. Dude, if you told me she was like 5th in MVP, I'd been like, I believe you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have no clue. I couldn't tell you who the 1 seed is. I don't know absolutely nothing about it.
Right. Okay.
But if she was playing, I would be watching.
Right. Yep. ALO Collector says, why is the 2012 Prism multiplier over 2013 Prism so much higher than the 2003 Exquisite multiplier over 2004 Exquisite?
Good question. Not for LeBron, though. The 03 multiplier over 04 Exquisite for LeBron is insane.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a good answer.
Yeah, this is kind of a question that belongs to that cluster with Drake and Vinny, which is whoever does figure out this question and truly figures it out will have solved a very important aspect of this hobby, which is why are some things worth what they are and other things worth what they are.
Do you find it interesting to hear people explain why X is more expensive in a certain scenario? Or is it just like, you can't explain it? I don't know.
I definitely find it interesting, but I think it's also very, very damaging to truth uncovering when people do start giving explanations, because nobody's ever testing their hypotheses to see if they're predictive. People are just sort of coming up with these after the fact rationalizations for things that almost always just suit their own personal interests and what their own collection already looks like.
Exactly.
So I do love to hear people opine on it, but what ends up happening is that like people reach to explain and answer questions like this, and they just end up reinforcing myths that may or may not be explanatory at all. And then after enough times of reinforcing and repeating the same thing, it just sort of becomes entrenched, and we actually have no idea if it's right or not. Yeah,
you explain it perfectly. That's exactly right. I just like start to roll my eyes because they just start saying the things that we're ready for them to say,
Right.
Like I could have seen it coming that PMGs would be so valuable. Obviously, look at the shine or whatever, look at the set collectors. I knew they'd be after this one.
Yeah, exactly. And this is one of the reasons why I absolutely love the art and science of card collecting, is because nobody does know right now. We have ideas, we design approaches to collecting around those ideas, but who really knows? This is such a vast unknown discipline. So much still to figure out here.
All right, we got past the collector questions.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're well past those. All right. TJ is online. Would like to know, will accepted offers from the PSA Instant Offer Program to card owners through the PSA app, will those be recorded in Card Ladder? TJ, if PSA were, because Card Ladder is not owned by PSA, Card Ladder is not PSA, and I know you know that. Card Ladder is owned by Collectors Universe, and Collectors Universe also does own PSA, so Card Ladder and PSA are sister companies, but we do try our very best to be objective and have a firewall in between ourselves and PSA so that we can track data in this hobby with as much objectivity as we possibly can muster. If PSA did want to provide that information to us and we could make sure that we could verify it, and we would, and I have no reason that we wouldn't be able to, then we'd be happy to take that data into sales history. But that's not our call, and we do not have the ability to make that call. So the correct entity to direct that question to is PSA. So please direct all inquiries about Card Ladder tracking offers through the PSA Instant Offer Program to PSA, and then PSA, and if PSA wants to provide that data and make it publicly available through Card Ladder sales history, then Just like any other private transaction, we'll make sure that the verification methods are in place so that we can credibly put our name behind those prices. Josh, do you want to add anything to that?
Nope.
All right. What are we doing here? Says, what do you think of PSA's new policy where they'll offer to buy your card at grading? What do you think about the? Have you availed yourself of PSA's instant offer program yet?
I haven't seen it for myself, but I saw the announcement. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't had a chance to try it out yet either. So I don't know. I haven't. It's been a while since I was grading anything with PSA. I guess because Christina and I haven't opened any boxes in a long time. But it's been a while since we've had occasion to grade any cards that we would countenance receiving or accepting an instant offer on.
Yeah. I mean, didn't someone say they're like 90%?
So I've heard that they're very competitive offers.
Hmm.
Very, very competitive offers.
It's definitely a nice option if you don't want to have to ship it to yourself and then sell it and ship it back out.
Right. Exactly. Okay.
Can I just add something?
Sure.
We were listening to a podcast today about this subject.
Yes, we were listening to Neo Cards and Comics talk about it.
That person. And he made an interesting observation in regards to this offer program of collectors potentially in the future being allowed to make like want lists for cards that then get graded. And I was just thinking that would be fucking awesome because I'm searching for a particular card.
You have a want list. You have the most famous want list.
I have a particular card that if it did pop up for grading, I know we all, like including this amazing community that is listening now, check pop lists as well as different marketplace platforms for this specific card in case it does pop up there. But like being able to be like, name your price. Like, I want this card. I think that would be really cool. Like for people who collect one of ones and they want to like make a private offer for if this card comes up and then gets graded. It's kind of like a bounty that is just standing, waiting to be claimed in a different location. And I think that he was onto something. And it definitely piqued my interest today when I was listening to him hypothesize about where this could potentially go in the future if it was to be opened up to individual collectors and not just companies.
Right.
Thank you.
Great point. That would be really cool.
Yeah, PSA is like the best point of single location for the most and best cards to funnel through, right?
Right.
Because right now they're going to Fanatics, some go to Golden, some go to eBay, some show up on Instagram, but like a lot of those cards find their way to PSA eventually, or they're in the pop report already.
Yeah. Yeah. But also as a person who submits cards to grading for PSA 2, I want, and I'm sure PSA would provide this, the ability to elect whether or not my card ends up notifying other people that it's come through PSA's doors.
Yes.
Showcase.
Exactly. And privacy should be like paramount. That should be something that like is offered when you grade. Like, I don't want anyone to know that I'm grading this card. I don't like I don't care about others.
Opt in, not opt out.
Yes. Agreed.
Very important.
Let's try and rapid fire through a few more here as we come up on the end of the show. What are we doing here with another question here? George had a lot of great questions today. With the recent bragging that's going on with some quote unquote influencers saying how much sponsorship money they allegedly are taking in, do you think it's time that sponsorships should be declared publicly? And if so, what about the amount? Thanks. I'll hang up and listen now. I certainly think I certainly think transparency around sponsorships is very important, and that if any member of the public inquires about who are the sponsors, it's even better if it's just the content creators proactively disclosing sponsorships, affiliate relationships with any companies or entities in the industry. I just think there's no downside to that, and there's lots of upside to just making that clear. Now, in terms of how much should they be disclosing how much the sponsorship is for? I think that there's a reasonable argument to be made that that the amount is something that can be kept private because it has so much business implications for the sustainability of these content creators. So content creators, they're running businesses. They are, or at least some of them are. They're competitive, and the nature of the details of their sponsorships, there's certainly, we can certainly imagine competitive advantages that they gain by being allowing, or by exercising some discretion as to the size of those amounts. So or at least me as an audience member, I don't feel compelled to have to know what the size of the sponsorship is, but I certainly want to know who the sponsors are. And to that end, whether the size of the sponsorship is enormous or it's tiny, once a sponsor is in the mix, there's certainly the heightened possibility of bias creeping in. So to me, that, in other words, I guess what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter if they're taking a ton of money or just a tiny bit of money. The possibility of bias exists. So just some thoughts there. Not saying that I have the right answer on this, but Josh, do you want to add anything to this?
Nope, I agree. You shouldn't have to give the amount.
Yeah.
Because let's say one of them said the number and now everyone else feels like, oh, I'm not getting enough, or I didn't know that we were able to get that much, etc. And renegotiations start to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So Pop Baggins has been cooking in the chat all night. That's crazy, but that's a great comment.
Competition to make less than minimum wage of 40. Just kidding.
That's
nice.
That's harsh, but that's all right. We like harsh here. All right, from AA Collectibles 01, what is the organic chemistry course in this hobby? Is it not passing high school English, or is it something else? And so this comes from a podcast that I did with Brett on Passion Profession, where we were talking about mechanisms that weed people out of things. And I said, I remember being in college and taking one look at organic chemistry, and basically that weeded me out of the sciences and the medical professions instantly. And so now Ankesh is sort of asking, what is the equivalent of that in the hobby? How do people get weeded out of becoming collectors or becoming dealers or becoming flippers? And then he says, is it not passing high school English? Okay, so that's harsh too. All right. That's harsh too.
I thought it was like buying a prospect quarterback and just getting absolutely clobbered.
Yeah.
Like if you spent 20 grand on Kenny Pickett or something, that's organic chemistry.
That's the fool and his money part.
Yeah, eventually. It's just like, I know what I'm doing. Kenny Pickett's going to win the Super Bowl this year. And it's like, oh God, I just lost all my money. He sucks.
Want to do a JJ McCarthy bit? Have we done that bit yet?
Oh, that's going to just be so bad. Even if he is good, it's going to be bad.
Yeah. Yeah, he had some patch auto sell for 40 grand last week.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't we do that bit already?
Yeah, I think we have done that bit. Sorry. Okay.
I'm always ready to do that bit. Every time the Caitlin Clark or JJ McCarthy bits come up, I'm ready.
Tasty Card Sandwiches. How funny would it be for the next Pokemon comic or cartoon or game or whatever if the people who write all the made up stuff that happens decided to have Charizard tear his ACL and Pikachu get a DUI? Then we could say goodbye to the nonsense narrative of Charizard can't tear his ACL.
I wonder if wrestling card collectors have to go through this, because I don't know what you know about wrestling, but they can switch from being a good guy or a bad guy. So I wonder if you're like, yeah, this is great, and then all of a sudden he turns into a heel, and it's like, damn it, the card value, in the world of made up stuff. Yeah,
it's good. I'm sure the wrestling card community, we do have some wrestling collectors who definitely listen. DM Josh and tell him if that's ever happened. He's dying to know.
Like when Hogan became a heel, it was such a big deal. If those cards were modern, would anything have happened? Or would it make the cards more valuable because their storyline got interesting? I don't know.
This is a big question for the end of a show, but I'm going to fire it off anyway. From Weekends Are for Cards, can we touch on the advent of eye appeal and its relationship to grading standards? Will we eventually have a scenario where we have to where we have ChatGPT regrade all of our cards in the future due to changing grading standards over time. So the idea here is sort of that are all of us eventually going to want to like get a second opinion on our two-dimensional renderings of our cards through some AI program or business that very well, sort of a Mike Baker type of sticker or that type of thing, but it's done through artificial intelligence.
No, people want the number on the slab. They don't want the microscopic why this is better than the other one condition wise. I'm telling you, we've gone over this so many times. Like the AI grading and the scanning, like those always come out and it just never topples PSA because they've got such a huge pop report of all the existing graded cards that people want the 9s and the 10s that already exist. And just imagine the scenario where someone has a PSA 10 Fleer MJ and ChatGPT's like, actually, that's a 9. You think the person's going to be like, hell yeah, I'm so glad I did this.
Great points. So is a rage comes through with the chat SGC. 2 hands under the table says not I appeal, AI appeal. Come on, guys. You guys are on fire right now. This is where I usually say something pompous and douchebaggy.
Do it.
Should I just do it?
Yeah, of course.
But before I say it, I just want you guys to know that I know that it is. So, I'm aware.
Pompous, like this is going to be about how your cards are better than everybody else's?
No, I mean, yeah, basically, yeah. Okay, the way that this plays out, the way that this goes is like this. If I am ever in a position where I'm collecting cards that are dependent upon an AI second grading of their eye appeal to determine what they're worth, then I've taken a wrong turn. I'm aspiring to collect cards that whose value is and whose worth to me as a collector is derived from their story, from their significance, from their rarity, and not from whether they're centered 65-35 or 60-40.
Right. If you had an MJ Fleer PSA 10 and the AI ran a report of every PSA 10 and they were like, yours is in the bottom 5% of those. That's like, or if it's the top 5%, now you're supposed to like change your life around this AI thing. Yeah, it's just silly.
Yeah. Now, condition and eye appeal are very important to eras of collecting that don't have so-called manufactured rarity. So I get that. I get why they need it, and why they also reach for the in-person autograph as a way to create rarity too. So I understand it. And that laid the groundwork for manufactured rarity, was the existence of condition scarcity. So, and organic. Sorry, what?
Way to go, douchebag.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's call it quits here.
Wait, let me scan these questions.
Scan the final 6 or 7 or so here.
Gamblers and repacks, autographs.
Those are your favorite topics.
So the autograph one, my son asked me, I told him I got a new card last week and he was like, is it autographed? I said, no. Does that change things in your opinion? He's like, well, wouldn't it be better if it was autographed? I was like, I see why you'd say that, but your dad prefers the cards not autographed. Why? Well, it's just like one less thing, and I prefer the sets. I'm trying to explain it, and as I'm explaining, I'm like, I guess they would be better if they were autographed. You have a good point. It's like the same card but with an autograph on it.
Yeah.
I didn't really have a good explanation for him.
That's great. The patience there is amazing.
My response to your child would be that the aesthetics of the card design, unless left for a place to have an autograph in a way that doesn't just include a white box, unless that is integral to the design, making it look good is more important than the autograph. The card itself is portraying the athlete. We don't need another connection to that athlete. The card itself is the connection. Now you're just being greedy.
He's 9.
I know.
Okay.
I didn't use big words. It was fine.
He would have been like, What's your favorite Minecraft
Dude,
character?
he would have checked out after the second word.
And I would have been like, here, have a cookie. We don't like autographs. And then he would have been like, cool, we don't like autographs.
He's like, why don't you just lead with that?
Yeah.
G with the very late cosign there on
Oh man.
let's
Bring
go.
it back to the beginning of the episode.
I'm ending the show on
I'm not interested in any of those
G.
questions.
Okay. We're gonna when G pronounces when he offers up an amen, we're done. We're done.
Just like we started the show with Jesus, and now we're
We're ending it with amen.
We're ending with the other 2/3 of the Trinity.
there we go.
Christina, you know what time it is.
Yes, I do know what time it is. 2 weeks ago, mentality-o-meter. Wanting a cigar in his mouth so bad. Jesus would say, sell your cards. Want me to strap in for this long one? Keep the
You said
answer.
it like you just like kept going. You didn't even whatever.
Oh, sorry.
No, when he
Which
said it, when
one?
Chris said it.
Oh. Keep the answer to yourself. What non-collectors think. Get people out of this hobby. Possible poop bucket. I'm going to be watching it and I'm going to complain. They sell eventually. They always do. And manic and drunk on the Kool-Aid.
A lot of good ones this week. High
What's
quality.
the poop bucket?
That was
Scott
about
Hansen.
Scott Hansen.
Oh, we were talking about him peeing, and you said there's a possible poop bucket.
Yep.
Chris said it. Yeah.
Wouldn't rule it out.
I think he
That's
said
gross.
something. I've heard him talk about like what he eats around that day, and it's like a very light breakfast, and he like doesn't eat much for this
God,
reason. And then after the show's over, he just eats like all of his food.
That guy's such a pro.
Exactly. Why? Like, God, Doris
I mean-
Burke, you gotta be
No, she's the worst.
shitting me. She just
I
got
was-
fired from the
I
final.
was so happy when she got demoted. I was so happy. I was like, not having to listen to her would make me so happy. Literally would rather watch on mute than have to listen to her. Yeah.
That is something about the return of sports, is I remember how much I hate 90% of announcers.
Yeah.
Collinsworth.
Well, what do you want, Josh? There's a lot of good ones. I honestly laughed at many, and I didn't even try to pick one yet.
I like the Jesus would say sell your cards one. That jumps out at me. I also like get people out of this hobby.
Those are the two that make me the most uncomfortable. So they're
Oh,
probably
perfect.
They're good ones. Yeah, that means that they're
No,
good.
what? There's two that make me way more uncomfortable than those two. Are you
Well,
serious?
the strap in for the long one, yeah,
And the cigar in my
the
mouth so
cigar.
bad.
Yeah, and those are shock value. You know, there's
Dude,
nothing.
what if MJ is trying to kick nicotine and you're over here telling him what he wants to do? Come on.
Actually, I'm pretty sure that there's like this pro nicotine movement right now.
Yeah.
Not through smoke, but
Yes, the Zin.
we got a zig, a zag, and the Zen.
I was around somebody that was using those, and I was like, "What if I had one of those right now?" He was like, "You would lose your mind. You would freak out. It would not be good. Don't do it." It's like, okay, geez.
So you took one. Oh, okay, yeah. All
So
right.
I took two, and then that was the end of my night.
So Jesus would say, "Sell your cards." That'd probably be
Why
my
did-
vote.
That one makes you
Christina, is
uncomfortable?
that sacrilegious?
It's not like it's just. I mean,
I think it's true to the spirit of Jesus.
is it though? Like, I don't actually think so. Jesus, like, was not a socialist. He didn't care about government or what you
I
did.
thought he gave up all earthly possessions and preached that it's more difficult for a rich man to go through the eye of a needle.
Yeah,
and
but
get
just
into
because
heaven.
you have cards doesn't mean you're rich.
It
And
means that there's a
the
materialism.
The saying is, it's easier for a camel to walk through the eye of a needle than a rich man to get into heaven.
There it is.
But yeah. And then we have the zig, the zag,
Wow, I
and the
butchered
zin.
that amazingly badly.
You did. It's fine.
I'm nervous for Nick to have to pick that imagery for the Jesus one.
Jesus? You would just put the cross. No?
Well, I mean, what if he, maybe he just doesn't want to have to.
Oh, Oh, for the graphic. Oh, okay, for the thumbnail. I get it.
So maybe the get people out of the hobby. What's wrong with that one?
It's good. That's good. That's good.
That's like every other title. You're worried about that? Like, go look at our thumbnails. It's like all of them are like, some threat of everybody.
Get people out of this hobby is just a perennial zag that we
It's just
employ.
like it's like so on the nose. It's kind of ridiculous.
I like
We finally just said it outright.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I like keep the answer to yourself because this is like a question and answer podcast. But
Yeah. Drake
yeah.
asked that 3 people sort of honed in on the key question of all questions, and the answer to that question is, if you figure it out, keep it to yourself. All right, let's do it. Get people out of this hobby. That's it.
What's the emoji? There isn't one. Like, can you like toss somebody?
Maybe like a broom, like sweeping people out.
Good. Yep. Done.
All right. See you guys next show if we decide to do one.
Maybe.